When James Cook is running the ball like that, the Buffalo Bills can beat anybody in the NFL, including the Kansas City Chiefs, who they play this Sunday.
I'm with you on that, Hein. I love the way the Bills played and managed that game. When I say manage, I mean by Josh Allen. He wasn't the playmaker, he was the manager of the game. And that's what we need to see out of the Buffalo Bills going throughout the season.
Listen,
Tekeyah?
I totally agree. Cook had 216 yards, most rushing yards by any player in the NFL this season, I think. So I totally agree with you. They have the Chiefs coming up. They look so good. Josh Allen can't always put the cape on. Someone has to help out there. Cook looks great. Wide receiver, maybe we need some help there. But yeah, I agree.
This is Broken Table. Hein, Tekeyah, Stevie, and yeah, I think you both nailed it. Josh, isn't this what we want? We don't want Josh to have to put the cape on. And I know some in the fan base were a little critical, which you and I were talking before we started. Makes no sense to me. And Joe Brady talked about this after. You don't want Josh to have to do that.
No,
when
you
you're
don't.
running the ball at that level, why do you need to throw the ball? You don't. Just pound the other team into submission the way they did. And like credit to that offensive line, because as much as that was a James Cook game, I look at that more as a Bills offensive line game. And last year, I thought they were the best group in football. If Cook is running this way, they can beat anybody in the NFL. So like, Stevie, when you see the way that line played, when you saw the way Cook was, and this was against a stout Carolina run D, coming into the game, one of the best run defenses in football, what jumped out to you when looking at that O-line and James Cook play Sunday?
To see what James Cook and the offensive line did to control that defense was amazing. And what jumped out to me was James Cook wasn't even tired, guys. He had 216 yards, broke records, and like it was the second guy in the NFL this year to have 200 yards. And he wasn't even tired. He wasn't sweating. I mean, he probably could have played again after that game and ran another 200. So that was what most impressive to me, seeing that running game strong like that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful to see. I think before week 8, he was 4th in the NFL for rushing yards, and then he jumped into 2nd.
Yeah, he's number 2 right now.
Yeah,
behind only Jonathan Taylor.
Anomaly, yeah.
Now I got this from Cover One, which is a great X's and O's Bills pod. And this kind of, it's perfect what Stevie just said. This is the number to back it up. James Cook, 7.7 yards before contact per rush. Previous high this season was 2.2 against the Saints. So that means this guy's already 7 yards downfield, close to a first down before anybody's even touching him. Mm-hmm. And I know they ran that toss to the left like over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And the O-line just blocked it up perfectly. This O-line was back, and I don't know what changed with them. I don't know if it was maybe with the bye week, Joe Brady kind of just, I know they said they got the pads back on. Maybe, Stevie, you can touch to that. When things are bad, or going into the bye week when things are bad, and then the coaches make you put the pads on, one, is that just sending a message to the players that we need to get more physical?
Hey, it's funny because players actually don't like that.
I'm sure the players hate it, right?
Yeah, we still who we are. You know, they are still the dominant O-line that they was all last year and this year. You know, they still are who they are. I just feel like they gave the ball to Cook. They let James Cook, and it shows when you can get 7 yards before contact. I mean, that's unfair. That's like if you race somebody. Say we both lined up at the 0 line, at the goal line, and I get 7 yards. And then we got to run to the 50. I mean, it only makes sense. You got to just continue to give the ball to that guy who's getting 7 yards before contact. It's a cheat code. You got to keep taking advantage of that. And that was the difference. Not putting on the pads. It was giving the ball to James Cook.
Do you think the critiques of Allen are fair? Or is that just like, no, things were working on the ground game. We didn't need to pass.
The critique is not fair at all. And it's something that the MVP would just have to take, because when you're the MVP, they expect you to have great numbers, passing, running, and also winning the game. Josh, he didn't have the Superman passing yards. However, he managed the game. This is really what the real fans, the core fans, want to see out of a evolving player like Josh Allen. We don't want to see him running around like we was just speaking about, doing everything. We want to see him manage games and have, I don't want to say have a low output, but if you're winning, continue to do this. I don't mind the low output, and I think the fans should just chill a little bit and let him be.
I agree. I think the game against Carolina was a perfect tune-up game for them. Like, they looked really, really good despite some of the questions people had about Josh. But I think it was a good spot for them. A confidence booster off a bye week, 2 bad losses before the bye week. So I think this was it was an almost perfect game for them.
Well, how can you criticize the offense when they scored 40 points?
Yeah, how?
That to me doesn't make any sense. And I know, Stevie, you've talked about it a lot earlier with what you like with Jalen Hurts, where whatever the game plan is to win, Jalen Hurts will do just that. And that's kind of exactly what we saw from Josh. And you mentioned the record that he set. So this is now 46 games with a pass touchdown and a rush touchdown in a game. Fitting that he passes Cam Newton. in Carolina for that game. But I think a lot of the offensive credit also has to go to the defense. And that is we talked about it all year. Once they got Hoyt, once they got Ogunjobi back, that things might change a little bit. That's the best this defensive line has looked all year. And let me just give you the numbers here because this is crazy. 9 points allowed, lowest all season. 7 sacks, most all season. 3 takeaways, most all season. So, Stevie, when you look at that defense, was it the return of was that getting more reinforcements on the defensive line? Also getting Max Hairston back at corner? Or was that something else that changed schematically maybe?
Hey, great question. And big shout out to the defensive line. We want to give them credit. Michael Hoyt, Larry Ogunjobi came back and they did what they were supposed to. Sadly, Ed Oliver went out. But what I think the difference in the defense stopping that Carolina offense was, if you look at the defensive backs in the past 4 to 5 games, we were playing soft. We was playing like a shell, and that was giving running teams that head start. We was talking about James Cook get 4 to 5 yards before contact. You're playing behind the sticks. This week, if you check out that game, the DBs were all pressed up. So that made the quarterback have to think a little bit more. And when the players reacted to a run, they was able to attack the run faster than later on in a down or in that possession. So I think that was the difference. Having those cornerbacks playing up tight and competing with those wide receivers, giving Andy Dalton a hard time to make reads. Even though he still made plays, he is an NFL player too. But we seen what happened, 40-9. It was unmatched. It was unmatched for the Buffalo Bills versus the Panthers.
Yeah, they almost doubled the amount of sacks in any other game they had all season. And, you know, the mantra everybody eats on offense, it kind of also did it on the D line with like...
Hoyt was involved. Bosa was involved. Everybody.
Epinesa. They all had at least 1 sack. So,
and Stevie, a real coming out party for your Kentucky guys, right? Like... But you mentioned the corners and the hits. Max Hairston with a big hit. Like he didn't play a ton, but when he did play, they didn't really target him. They didn't throw his way. He made a couple big tackles, and now with obviously let's give the Ed Oliver news real quick. Looks like it's a bad biceps injury. They're saying out indefinitely. We don't know when he will be back. Unless you look at his IG.
Yes, I was just gonna say, did you guys look at his Instagram post? Because he said he will be back. And he had the ring emoji. He's maybe alluding to something.
So I know Milano had this injury and missed about 3 months. And the timeline of 3 months from now is the Super Bowl. So make the Super Bowl. Hopefully Ed Oliver is back there. But Deion Walker will now have big shoes to fill. And he has been amazing all year. He's been their best rookie. And he's been dominant. But now he has to sort of take on that main role on the defensive line. What do you think, Stevie? Is the rookie from Kentucky, Deion Walker, have you seen enough from him to sort of step into Ed Oliver's shoes the rest of the way here?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen that he's more than able. He's skilled, he's athletic, he's huge, 6'7". But the thing I think the Buffalo Bills need to do now that Ed Oliver is out, we will utilize the depth that they have, which was great by Bean, but they have to switch up that front. You can't keep Deion out there alone in the middle because those centers and guards are just going to double team, and it's going to put too much pressure on the linebackers who's also depleted. So I think they're going to have to change that front and maybe put 4 linemen in there, 2 nose tackles. So Deion, the athleticism of Mike Hoyt, he's able to play everywhere on the line.
Oh, yeah.
Ogunjobi back, so we still have depth, which is great. But I think they're definitely going to have to switch up this scheme on defense so that it's not too much on Deion Walker's plate, in my take.
Well, interesting you say that with the scheme because a lot of the talk going into the week was, do they need to stop Bobby Babich from calling plays and have McDermott calling plays? And they asked McDermott about this after the game, and McDermott sort of said, we've both been calling plays throughout the year. And if you look at the video, it sort of looked like Sunday McDermott was calling plays. So everyone says McDermott is a great defensive play caller. So I'm not really sure what the truth is behind that, but it looked like McDermott was calling plays, and the defense looked awesome Sunday against Carolina.
It's so tough for me because the defense looking good against Carolina. I mean, I'm not going to get too high on a good defense against Carolina, but that's just to play devil's advocate.
No, but I think that's a fair argument. It's like, you went up against a backup quarterback and not a great team, but Carolina was pretty hot coming in. Carolina had won 3 straight. Rico Dowdle was setting all kinds of records, was running all over everybody, and you completely shut that guy down. So like, on one hand, you did what you're supposed to do against bad teams, but like, and Stevie, you can speak to this. Winning in the NFL on the road is always hard no matter what.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so difficult. So just to get that win, it just goes into what everyone was saying when the Bills were losing. Oh, they only beat teams that had losing records, but it's not like the Buffalo Bills set that up on their own. You know, they're just playing who the teams that they're supposed to. So, you know, the good thing that they're handling their business, you know, like Tekeyah was saying, coming off that bye week, it seemed like they was a little bit more refreshed and it showed. But at the same time, you know, it is the Carolina Panthers. We'll see what happens with the Kansas City Chiefs. But the Panthers, they did have a win streak going on. And they had Andy Dalton, who wasn't a rookie quarterback. You know, he's a vet.
That's true.
So that was a pretty solid victory over the Carolina Panthers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have a question about what Josh looked like, because I know everyone is kind of hypercritical about him week to week. It's always something. He did, though, break another record. I feel like that happens every other week.
Yeah.
But Stevie, he was scrambling out of the pocket for quite some time. I don't know what was going on there on the broadcast. I couldn't see down the field, but the all-22 looked like not a single person was open. So did he make the right call not throwing the ball? Was he scared of throwing an interception? What was happening there?
Yeah, that was good managing by Josh. He was actually waiting for his guys to get open. But the thing is, you have to be able to teach these receivers how to be illegal. We spoke on this a little bit weeks ago on, you know, being illegal throughout routes. And I believe that's where the coaching has to come in with the team, because when you extend plays, the routes are not the same. Now you have to do something other than what you're taught to do to get open. And that's what Josh was waiting for. The guys wasn't really getting open as much, but that's the reason why we need to cut the air time down on the passing yards so that the guys can have shorter routes and Josh can get it out faster and make his decisions much more fast.
Yeah, Tekeyah, the play you're talking about, I think I saw he was in the pocket or not in the pocket, but he was scrambling for about 10 seconds. Second longest timed sack this year. I think only Jalen Hurts had something longer. But yeah, you look at the all-22, you look at like the dots look, nobody is open. So like, what are you supposed to do in a situation like that? You now have the Ed Oliver injury. The safety issue seems to be solved a little bit. I know we saw Hancock getting some work at safety, and there was a play where Dowdle kind of broke one, and it's like, within the old safety situation with Taylor Rapp, that might have been a touchdown, tackled, and then you wind up holding them there. Or I think it led to a turnover. So if you're looking at this team, trade deadline's coming up, and I'll ask both of you this questions. What position, if the Bills are going to make a deal, if Bean makes a move, would you want to see them trade for a receiver, secondary help, or a defensive lineman? Tekeyah, let's start with you.
I'm going to have to say receiver. The receivers now, they can't get separation. I know Josh, it looks like he's having a tough time deciding whether he wants to pass to them or be Superman or what to do. So I would have to say a wide receiver.
Stevie, what about you?
Okay, I would lean towards DB. However, I just don't know the DB to grab. So I'm going to lean with Tekeyah's answer and say receiver. The only thing about that is I don't want to give up any receiver. So if we can give up draft picks and then bring a guy in, I'm cool with that. But if we have to give somebody up, I'm looking at the bottom of the depth chart and seeing who we can give up. But if not, I wouldn't even make a trade for anybody if we got to give up some of the players, because we got some great gadgets on this team and you never know when they might pop. As we seen last season, week to week, it was different players making plays.
I completely agree with both of you. I think, to Stevie's point, I think DB is the answer, but who's available? No one wants to get rid of corners. No one wants to get rid of safeties. Like, there's no good DBs available, where it seems like there's a bit of a receiver market. So I think receiver makes sense. But I will say this, the emergence of Shakir, and we're starting to see a little more of it on that play, he just basically, like, he's the Yak King. Now, Stevie, you posted something on your socials about kind of breaking that play down and how they need to use him like Wes Welker. Do you want to elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, for sure. So when I said utilizing Khalil Shakir like Wes Welker, it's the volume. It's the volume of numbers and targets that Wes Welker was getting with Tom Brady. And if you look at how many targets and where it was at, it was all short to intermediate or behind the line of scrimmage in quick passes. That's exactly what we need to do with Khalil. I mean, he's showing it every time he makes these big plays, these long runs. Is all from like a catch within 5 to 4 yards. It's all under 5 yards. So just get the ball out to him and let him do the rest. It doesn't look great on Josh because he's not running around breaking tackles and then getting it to Khalil. He's just sitting back there and then just throwing it to him. It's making it look like Josh isn't doing much. However, it's padding those stats as you see what Khalil does once he get the ball in his hands. So you got to utilize him, give him more volume, more touches so that he can show that he is a Wes Welker type and not just a gadget receiver.
Josh is coming off an MVP season as well. Like, we know he knows how to look.
He's confident in himself.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
He already looks so good. We all talk about how good he looks. He does not have a true wide receiver one. Imagine what he would look like with a true wide receiver one.
But I think, and to Stevie's point, maybe Shakir could be that wide receiver one if he got more volume. And maybe that is it. Like, he's not going to be your prototypical 6'3" guy on the outside with 4.3 speed, but you don't need that in today's game. And the way he can make guys miss, I'm all for more volume Shakir's way. But at the same time, what you said, if you can go get like a Chris Olave and get like a true number one, bring them in. But let's shift over to the Chiefs game Sunday. Now, this team has beat the Chiefs in the regular season. I don't even know how many times now, but it seems like every year, same thing. Beat the Chiefs in the regular season, lose to them in the playoffs. So, Tekeyah, I'll start with you. If the Bills beat the Chiefs Sunday, does that even mean anything, given the history?
I mean, I think we talked about it. It's a measuring stick game because they are coming off, again, those 2 bad losses, a bye week, a win over Carolina. So this, I think, is more of a measuring stick game. I don't know. No, you have to beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah. Look, I'm with Tekeyah on this one, too. We beat them too many times in the regular season to say it means something. It's got to be playoff time. So we just want to see a competitive team, and we want to see if Brady actually give the ball to Cook, or does he hold back and wait till the playoffs to give it to him? I just want to see him give it to Cook and let Cook dominate.
I'll play devil's advocate with you both a little bit, just because I'm kind of with you. I don't think it means too much, but I think the 1 seed means tons. Now, I don't necessarily think the Chiefs are going to be who you're up against. It seems like the Colts might be the team that you're fighting for the 1 seed with. So I think this game means something, not in the nature of KC versus Buffalo, but just in the nature of getting the 1 seed. And I think if the Bills are going to make the Super Bowl, getting the 1 seed is crucial. Now, one thing that does jump out to me, though, and we talked about before, this easy Bills schedule. Looking at it right now, it does not look so easy. So here we go. This week, Chiefs, then at Dolphins. After that, Bucks at home, at Texans, at Steelers, Bengals at home, at Patriots, at Browns, Eagles, and Jets. Right there, I see Chiefs playoff team, Bucks playoff team, Texans potential playoff team, Steelers playoff team, Patriots playoff team, Eagles playoff team. That is 6 potential playoff teams, and this schedule seems a lot harder than it did a month ago.
Yeah, I think everyone coming into this season was like, oh, Mickey Mouse schedule. The AFC is kind of wide open right now. Yeah. Like, where are these teams coming from? The Colts are good. The Patriots are good. I don't think anybody expected these teams to be this good. So I don't know.
Who's the best team in the AFC then?
Yeah, I don't even know. The Colts?
But
New England?
But like, think about, I think Chris B said this earlier. It's like, look at the standings. It's like the early 2000s again with the Broncos, the Colts, and the Patriots at the top of the standings. But I'm not ready to say the Colts are the best team in the AFC. No. Stevie, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a good balance in the league.
Yeah.
If you got a running game, your team is going to be at the top. So whoever utilizes the run game is going to be the team that's going to be at the top. And you see Jonathan Taylor, the Colts, he's at the top of the list for rushing. James Cook's at the top of the list for rushing, guys like that. And then you see what the Patriots are doing. They don't have any rushers at the top. However, they're not turning the ball over anymore, and they're sustaining drives. So, that's going to balance out this league. It's so entertaining. And this is what the Buffalo Bills fans want. Everybody been talking about weak schedule,
Yeah.
Now we plan to hit some dogs, so we'll see what happens from here.
Like, I don't know if you guys have looked at the MVP odds, but Drake May is right up there. Mahomes is currently the favorite.
Yeah.
There is not a bet. I look at that list and it's like, where's the value? I'm sure there's value somewhere because I don't think Mahomes is the MVP. I don't think Allen's the MVP, and those are the two shortest odds. But who's the guy? No one jumps out at me at all.
I think we were talking earlier about if you shortened the season and said it was an 8-week season and looked at it right now, who would be?
It has to be Drake May, probably.
It has to be Drake May.
I'm gonna go with James Cook. They the ball at Cook. We gonna see a running back get MVP since who was it? Thurman maybe?
No, it was I think Adrian Peterson.
Oh, AP. That's right. That's okay.
Was the last time. So like. That awards people telling us though that we are not giving the MVP to a running back anymore. So like if Saquon didn't get it last year, that would mean Taylor like
that's true. Especially after jumping over somebody backwards.
Exactly. So if Barkley couldn't get it last year, then I don't think you can give it to Jonathan Taylor. Like there's no way.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, for me, it's right now. I guess it would depend on how the divisions fall, but like. Drake May as the MVP is crazy to me.
Some wild things.
The Pats winning the AFC East is also crazy to me. Okay, let's finish with predictions for Sunday then. Stevie, Bills Chiefs, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling the Buffalo Bills get the win. We go feed Cook again. And another dub for the Buffalo Bills over the Chiefs in the regular season.
I think history repeats itself. We beat the Chiefs. I would love to see it be not a blowout, but not a close game. I feel like every time they play the Chiefs, it's so close. It's nerve wracking. I just want to be comfortable and calm watching a Bills Chiefs game.
I also think the Bills will win. Anytime they're like it's whatever the spread is, 1.5, and it's going to probably flip back and forth throughout the week. I love the Bills at home in that situation. If the game was in KC, I think it would be different, and I think the Chiefs win. But because it's in Buffalo, I think the Bills win. But once again, I'm not sure what exactly that means, but that's all for us. We will be back next week after Bills Chiefs. Stevie, play us out.
Yes, feed Cook and feed Khalil early and often. If you didn't know, now you know the Bills are back in that sweet victory win column. Make sure y'all stay tuned next week to the Broken Table. One love and go Bills for life.